There are serious concerns tonight for two Canadian women who are being detained in Syria. Originally feared missing as the day began, they have made contact with a family friend, but still there are questions about how they are doing. With more, we're now joined by Zachary Al-Khatib. He represents the two Canadian women, again, in Syria. Mr. Al-Khatib, thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
Now, as I said in the introduction, your clients have now made contact. What exactly do you know about their whereabouts now and how they're doing?
Michael, they've been missing for 11 days. My clients are two Canadian women. They're adults, but there are young underage children with them. These are teenage girls, 3 teenage girls who are also with them. So there's a total of 5. They were supposed to be on a repatriation flight 11 days ago. They weren't there at the time of the flight. For some reason, the Canadian government left them in Syria without knowing where they were, without knowing under what conditions they had been left. And in that time frame, what we've discovered today is that they've been detained. They are in need of medical attention. They have been mistreated. They have had their possessions taken away from them. They've finally been moved to another camp, a camp that's under the authority of the Syrian Defense Forces, the camp that they were originally supposed to have been moved to over 11 days ago. We don't know what's happened in the interim very clearly. We do know that there are serious concerns about their safety. And every day that passes, it seems that those concerns grow and grow. And so we're asking the government to assure that they are safe and to provide a timeline for their immediate repatriation.
Let me go back on a couple of points there. First and foremost, you say they are in need of medical attention. Just what type of attention, to your understanding? How are they injured or are in crisis right now?
I don't know. They were finally allowed to make a phone call. A call came through from an unknown Syrian number to a family member. They were allowed a very brief call. In that call, they said that they were not well, that they had been detained in prison, in an unknown prison called the Red Prison in a Kurdish prison camp, and they had been moved to another prison, that they had been mistreated, and that they needed medical attention, and that they had nothing with them. They only had the clothes on their backs, and that all 5 of the women had been mistreated. And so we're extremely concerned about what's happened here, because the Canadian government provided assurances that they would be safe. These women said before the repatriation operation happened, we are concerned that we will be mistreated by the Kurdish forces. And the government said, we have communicated with the Kurdish forces. We have been given assurances. We're giving you assurances. Present yourselves and you're going to be transported. Well, their worst fears came true, is what it seems like. And the government has not taken care of them properly.
Well, as you said, they were meant to be repatriated to this country earlier this month on that flight. What exactly have you heard from Global Affairs or the Canadian government regarding that flight and as to why these 2 women and the 3 teenage girls are not with them?
We've heard nothing. We've heard nothing from Global Affairs, which is why we're asking for answers publicly. We've been put in this position because the government has not been clear about what has happened. We were told that they were going to be safe. We were told that they were going to be brought to the repatriation site where they would be transported. None of that happened. Then we were told the government said we don't know what's happened. We don't know where they are. We're trying to get answers and we have none. Those aren't satisfying responses from a global leader in international matters. So we're put in the awkward position of having to demand these answers publicly, and we're hoping that the government is going to take immediate steps to both provide the assurances that we've been asking for all along and to immediately fulfill its obligation to repatriate these women.
Now, these women, not so much the teenage girls because they were children at the time, but these 2 women did leave Canada in 2014. They left to join ISIS. Canadians were warned against doing that. You know, respectfully, what do you say to Canadians who have little sympathy for what your clients are now going through?
Well, let me just take issue with the question, because we don't know that they left to join ISIS. We don't know anything at all about the circumstances under which they left Canada and why they were in northern Syria. Right now, I haven't seen a shred of evidence that says that they have done anything criminal. We don't know whether they were going somewhere else. We don't know what exactly happened. We do know, look, Are they in a place that there was a travel advisory? Certainly they shouldn't have been there, obviously. However, under what circumstances were they made to be there? We have no information about that. They are presumed innocent. They are Canadian. I have not been told that they are criminal. I have not even been told that they are certainly going to be charged with a criminal offense. So at present, their presumption of innocence applies. Certainly the 3 young ladies who are under the age of 18, who are teenagers, are completely blameless. And the government, especially for them, has to ensure their safety and bring them back home.
So where do you go from here? A public appeal being made to both Global Affairs and the federal government. Where do you go from here?
I think we keep knocking steadfastly on the doors of power and asking for answers. Canadians deserve that their government protects them. That's all we're asking. Canadians have rights. They deserve to be treated fairly and properly. Even if it's true that, some people's assumptions are true, that they've done certain things that are blameworthy, they should be tried properly in a court of law. They should be given a fair process. They should be able to challenge evidence. They should be able to speak freely and honestly and openly about what's happened to them. Right now, they can do none of those things because their fundamental security hasn't been assured by their government. That's all we're asking. It's not a difficult ask. It's not an unreasonable ask. We just want the government to do what it should do for any Canadian.
Zachary Al-Khatib, really appreciate the time. Thank you for this.
Thank you for having me.